is Philip Martin. This is On Film on Video. I apologize because I wasn't here last week, but let me tell you what happened. Tuesday of last week, developed a sore throat. And I haven't had any sort of sickness since this whole COVID thing started, and it's sort of interesting because I imagine a lot of people have had this experience. Since you started wearing mask, if you wear a mask, and not going out and watching what you're doing and social distancing and all that, it turns out you don't get sick. Yeah. And then last week I got sick finally, and it was after we'd gone to a bunch of screenings. And for the screenings this year, I'd never taken a COVID test until I had to go to a movie screening. And so I'd taken a COVID test, which was the icky one where you swab up your nose and stuff. And it was negative, of course. I would have led with it. It had been positive, but it was negative. So I went to screening, and, I'm not saying I caught it there, but it's just like the first time I get out, and I'm out and around people a few times, and, and I come back and I have this really blazing sore throat last Tuesday. And then my last Wednesday which is the day that I normally record these things, and it was the day before Thanksgiving too. So it was like we really had a kind of stressed weekend that we had to get everything we do normally through Thursday morning done by Wednesday afternoon. Excuse me, I'm gonna cough. Okay, I don't have a cough button. I hope that didn't upset anybody, but I don't have a cough button. I mean, and I tend to do. I could edit this, but I'm just like, I'm not editing anything unless my salary goes up, unless my contract needs to be renegotiated before I start actually doing things like editing things. That's like working special effects. Not my job. But but anyway, so I get sick, and I really got so sick that I didn't want to do I didn't feel bad. But it did. My throat was really bad, and I didn't want to come on here and do a video with my sounding like that. And maybe I shouldn't have come on here today sounding the way I do now because it's still there. And again, I feel great. I feel pretty well. I just have, and when I get colds, this always happens. I always have this sort of like this 7 or 8 day after period where I get a little clogged up. It's not a big deal, but my throat gets a little raspy and hoarse, and I'll come up here to my studio, which is where we are now, and I'll try to sing something to take advantage of that hoarse, raw quality of my voice, which I actually like a lot. And I'm not the only one. We're going to talk a little bit about the Beatles and the Apple TV Plus series, the Peter Jackson, The Beatles Get Back, which I talk about in my column up there. But not in a... Okay, here's the deal. Paul McCartney used to go in the mornings, sometimes on some songs, do his vocals before his voice warmed up, before it got over what that sort of morning voice phase, when you have that huskiness, that sort of rawness in there, because he liked that quality. I think "Oh Darling" on Abbey Road, you'll see him doing that in the Beatles in Get Back, I believe. He takes a crack at it with that kind of husky voice stuff. That's just exactly what I was doing. Now, as I say in the column above, I was transfixed by the Peter Jackson stuff, by the Get Back. And it's fascinating, I think, to anybody who is interested in the Beatles, which is a sizable minority. It's like I really am kind of aware that a lot of the stuff we talk about, a lot of the stuff that we, think, or people who write about pop culture and think about pop culture and stuff like that, a lot of the stuff we're writing and talking and arguing about isn't really that popular. You know, I mean, there's way more people who are watching The Bachelorette or NCIS than they are watching, you know, Succession or this Peter Jackson documentary that's running on Apple TV Plus. Though I would imagine just about every Beatles fan is going to, you know, pony up the $7.99 for Apple TV Plus so they can watch this documentary because it's worth that. I mean, it's like I have a friend who's probably not watching this. If he is, hi, uh, who, you know, says, "Well, I'll just get it on DVD later." Yeah, I know, but you can get it on DVD later, but it's probably going to be a $75 package to get the you know, the 3 DVDs and all the auxiliary stuff they're going to put on it. I mean, and that may be worth having. I may want that myself. But I mean, for $7.99, that's, you know, that's less than the price of a movie ticket. You can slip in there and you can watch it on Apple TV, and you can, you know, have it there whenever you want it for as long as they keep it on Apple TV. And then your subscription runs out, I guess, so they want you to re-up, and most people probably will because they have, yeah, you know, they have their ways. I mean, it's harder to get out of it than it is to get into it. Even a little bit, some people won't do it. You know, I mean, so I get this. I don't really think it's unfair or even sneaky, but I do think that, you know, it's a smart strategy to use something like the Beatles Get Back to draw people to your service, and then you got them at least for a little while. You know, I might even make them sign up for 3 months. I don't know if I'd just go for the 1 month thing. I think no, you're here to see Get Back. You got to take 3 months. You know, and I still think it would be a pretty good deal. But again, it's, I don't know how many people are watching. I guess there's probably somebody out there is tracking figures, at least interior. But I don't know how many Apple TV Plus subscribers there are, and I don't know how that equates to the whole thing, because you can imagine that Apple could probably send us all a brand new laptop and not really imperil their bottom line very much. I mean, I think that it's a strategy to drag you in and to hold you and stuff like that. Same thing they're doing with the Disney Plus and the HBO Max and all that. And if you can afford it, and if you think it's worth it, which I kind of do, I think you ought to take advantage of this stuff. I mean, because a trip to a theater can be pricey for. I get jaded because it's like, when's the last time I paid for a movie ticket? Well, not that long ago, actually, but it's like I get into a lot of movies free. I see a lot of these things for free, but I don't know. I think we're devolving into two different types of experience. I mean, you have the movie experience, the theaters, theatrical experience, which is wonderful, and I really hope it continues, and I want it to thrive. But if you're just looking for the plain entertainment in that, well, this is we're living in a golden age where we, wear a mask and get sick anyway. Excuse me. Anyway, it's that time of year for us movie critics, when we really feel like we're important guys and ladies, because the studios start sending us their DVDs. Cyrano with Peter Dinklage, yeah. Okay. I know this is one everybody's interested in. Come on, with Joaquin Phoenix, this wonderful actor, Woody Herman. Yeah. Yeah, Woody Herman, that's his name, isn't it? I have to check now. Woody Norman. I knew it wasn't Woody Herman. That was the band leader. Okay. You could tell. I'm kind of loopy on cough syrup. It's not prescription cough syrup. It's over-the-counter stuff, so, It still makes me loopy. Anyway, but we're in the middle of all this, and we're going to, we're seeing a lot of movies. Drive my car last night. Seeing most of them on links now. They send them to us. All because we're going to send in ballots. Like this weekend is mine. I think Karen has got one where she's voting in one this weekend, but she's also sending in nominations on another one this weekend, and we're gonna like all get together in our little virtual selves and decide what the best movies of the year were. Now, I will tell you, I have not seen every movie that came out this year. I have not seen half of them. I have seen a lot of them. I've seen more than you, most likely. I mean, there may be one or two of you out here that can claim different, but I have probably seen more than you. And I don't know what the best movie is. You know, I know what I like best, and I know what I think I want to see. You win a lot of honors and stuff, but I'm hard pressed to say that any movie is best movie. I mean, it you know, sort of like what food is best food? I don't know. I mean, there's a lot of great stuff out there, and there's a lot of average stuff that's still pretty good. You know, there's a lot of you know, greasy spoon hamburgers out there. There's a lot of good things. I mean, it's and you can, you know, argue about this, and that's great for us, I guess, because that's one of the things that drives people to look at our reviews and read our section and stuff like that. But I've always really thought it was sort of like kind of funny and pointless that, you know, we come up with these end of the year lists, this top 10 list. And yes, I'll have a list. I'll have many lists. I'll have several. I could, you know, the documentaries this year are just amazing. It's just like, there are 30 documentaries out there that I think should be top 10 films, okay? It's just nuts how good some of this stuff is. And I'm talking about good as separated from the you know, average movie. I mean, there's so many above average movies this year. And there's a lot more that aren't that good, but they have some redeeming qualities maybe, or maybe something that you might be interested in depending on, you know, your situation. But so I'm charged with going through them and reading, and I'm trying not to read anything about them until I've watched them, which is hard because I'm editing reviews of them every week. Now, you remember Piers Marchant liked Lamb a lot, and I'm going to watch this either this afternoon or tonight. I'm going to actually make a little text message from now on, says if Karen wants to see it. She might have seen it already. I don't know. Humans. Yeah, we saw this the other night. It's on Showtime. It's a Showtime movie, but we make no distinction between this anymore. I mean, sort of like, and I don't think there should be. I mean, it's sort of like, I don't think the platform ought to matter to like industry awards groups and things like that. Maybe it ought to matter to theater owners and people. I think that theaters have got a big challenge ahead of them. I think that some of them are up to it, and I think they're doing all right in this. I think they're coming out of this okay. But at the same time, if you're just looking at the art, at the product, and not anything else, I think that, yeah, it's fine. I don't care where it's screened. I don't care if it's screened in one theater someplace. I just don't see the need to do these obligatory exercises where you screen the film for 1 week in one theater, you know, someplace, just to make it eligible to be considered by people who look at film. This is interesting. I haven't watched this yet. So this is and Dan Liebarger writes about Robert Greene, the director of this film, Procession, which is, I believe it's on Netflix. Yes, it's Netflix. FilmNetflixAward.com. So it's a Netflix film. He writes about this in our newspaper, and I haven't seen it, but I know Robert, and I've liked a lot of his films. I like what he's a very intellectual filmmaker, but his films are accessible on to a wide audience, and he does some things that are a little different, uses reenactments and uses things like that, but they're fascinating movies. Bisbee 17 was his last one, and I think that you know, that's certainly where This is one I missed from earlier in the year, and I'm going to have to catch up because I've heard some good things about Zola. This is the social media movie that based on a true story, based on a Twitter feed. Okay, and so I got to get through these, which is interesting considering I also have a job and I also have other interests. And but for now, this week, and on to the middle of December, really, we're going to be hunkered down watching films. There's still another couple of screenings that we have to go to, and thank you for getting screenings back here. It's so good to see things in an actual theater. And I mean, the thing is, it's like some of these. I don't know how people who are less technically competent than myself, because I'm not saying I'm good at it, but I can generally get the movie up from a streaming link, and I can almost always get it up on my TV because you can do it a number of ways. You can use screen mirroring, and there's also another Apple TV thing that will shoot it up there. And I've got some apps that are loaded on the TV that allow me to do certain things and see things. But it would be really confusing for someone who doesn't have a little bit of technical savvy to do that. And I think that, in the case of a lot of the, like George Clooney is going to have some AV guy who's going to do this for him. So he'll be able to watch all this stuff in his private screening room without any hindrance. But, it's like I'm just sitting there trying to drive my car up on the TV, and I'm poking at buttons, and then things going black, and then it's out of sync, and it's just, So it's much easier and funner for me to go to I just realized I have done this whole thing on a kind of a loopy kind of nod thing, because I really am sort of starting to feel the medicine work. Well, it's just funny. Because I listened to one of the podcasts I listened to is a Greenlight podcast with Chris Long, and it's a sport podcast. But it's Chris Long, who's Howie Long's son, his former New England Patriot, Philadelphia Eagle, Los Angeles, actually St. Louis Ram then when he was on the team. He's a former football player. He's very smart, but he's often doing the podcast that he, I guess, gets paid for, or has some sort of, it's his job now. He does it basically stoned. I mean, because I guess in Virginia, you can get stoned. It's like, okay. And that's kind of the way I feel now. I'm not stoned. I am on a little bit of medication. And this may be a classic. I don't know. Anyway, guys, so I just want to let you know, we're still here. We are feeling better. We never felt bad, actually. We did have a throat thing. But it's gone. I just want to cough now. And we'll see you on the other side. Next week ought to be a little bit less pressure on your boy here, because I'll be done with at least my major balloting. I will have already sent in my ballot. I will have a top 10 for the year. I'll have a top 20 for the year. I'll have a best actor. I'll have a best director. I'll have all that. But I haven't got there yet, so we'll see you later. All right, back to it.